This is the pound dollar on the 5 minute. This is a flag pattern that's set up with a double bottom and a 2618. This thing has been a bit of a pain. Been trying to get my entry on it. I missed it initially down here because it didn't come quite low enough. Then we had the breakout. Then we put in this AB equals CD pattern, and so I set a limit order here at the 61.8 and I've just been filled. So it now means I do not have the best risk to reward, but it does mean that since we've had the breakout, I've got more confirmation that the trade is going to go higher than lower. So what I am just going to do here is I will talk through the entire trade rather than just keep it on that time frame. So let's go out to the dailies. Not much here, the dailies, to be honest, other than the fact that we are yesterday put in a big lower close candle here on the 240. You can see that we are trading sideways, and I am going to put a structure level on just at the very bottoms of these wicks. And if we look at why we're seeing a little bit of resistance there, well, we can say that we have resistance, 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 resistance here as well. So it's an area where we could see some form of sideways movement before we see a little pop to the upside. Here on the 4 hour, we have put in a higher high, higher close. That in itself indicating that we could go a little higher. Let's go and take a look at the 60. Okay, here on the 60 we have a double bottom. It wasn't a double bottom for me, but now one has formed, and I'm just going to highlight this lower level just here. You can see we've had a test and a test, and right here with this big bullish candle we have had a higher high, higher close, and it is a break above, close above the top of the V point of this double bottom. So what that means is you can look for a 2618 entry. Now 2618s by themselves I do not trade. However, when we do drop down the time frame, you'll actually see that we have a flag pattern. And so I was waiting for that 61.8, which we did not come down and hit. If you was front running your orders, you may have been filled, but we've not been down and hit as yet. But if we go to the 15 and we have a flag pattern which we can use as an entry, and that's exactly what I was doing. We have this lovely bullish run. We had the flag like this. So we had so we had a touch, 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 and the way I have them marked out is we didn't quite come down to touch the area that I needed. It literally needed to come down a few more pips and this 61.8 fib here. But then what happened is we had the breakout. So you can see clearly broken out now in the direction that we want this pattern to go to. And what that means is even though we didn't quite get the touch just here, I can now look for another entry reason. And if we go down to the 5 minute, you'll see this AB equals CD pattern, which I've just spoken about. And here's the thing, if you miss your entry, but the trade has broken out in the direction that you think it's going to go, you can simply wait for a retracement. So you have many opportunities to get involved with the trade. So here's the AB equals CD pattern. And what I did was I threw a fib on. I saw that the 61.8 fib comes in near to that trend line structure. And I then left an aggressive limit order at that point because we have already had the breakout. That was the confirmation that I needed, so I don't need anything like a higher high, higher close. And you can see right here was that entry. Now, since we've had the breakout, that means that my stops only need to go below the low here. So if we bring back on the orders, I have gone... Yep, 9 pips below the low. Give it plenty of room. We don't want it too tight. Don't want to risk being stopped out. And then we can look for that 127 fib for targets. Let's just throw this on. Okay. So in terms of risk, 20. In terms of reward, 128. Where's that 127 fib gone? There it is. Okay, I need to be a pip above that. Okay, so probably 29 pips of reward there. Now, why have I got my stop further back than an ATR below the lows? And that simply is because this could actually still come down to retest that 61.8. I'm just going to leave that that fib on there. It's unlikely, but because this is a high probability trade now, because we've had the breakout, if it does come back down to here, my stop is still underneath it, and I still have a good risk to reward and still a high probability of it going on to hit my potential target. We're back for an update on the pound dollar. What happened within the last 5 seconds is we just rallied straight down. I was just about to open the conversation and say here we are 20 pips up, and we're only 13 now, but not to worry, not to worry. That's what price does, it moves up and down. What I do want to do is show you my awesome entry. I told you here that I was putting a limit order right at the 61.8. You can see I front run it by pip. We got filled, and that was the point that turned. So very happy with that. Here on the 5 we have put in a new high. Let's just go and take a look at this on the 15. Okay, here on the 15 we have also put in a new structure high. So that means now, since we have actually not only broken out the channel but also put in a new structure high, officially putting us in trend. And the reason for that is because this was an initial structure high at the top of the pole. This now becomes a new structure high. So what I can do then is I'm just going to reduce down the risk on this then to that point. An ATR below this low, and that means now 16 pips of risk, and we're still waiting for that 28 pips of reward. We're back for the final update on this trade, and very surprised that I've been stopped out. Very high probability trade here. We're in trend, stopped out. There you go, look, we came to here, just didn't get a target. So 26.18 double bottom, flag using the breakout, got the breakout. Just, it's very rare these patterns fail to hit the 127, but as you can see, clearly failed to hit it. So out of that one for minus 18 pips.